Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. And thank you once again to miskatonicbooks.com for sponsoring the show. Thank you miskatonicbooks.com for making the show possible. Miskatonicbooks.com is really the #1 international purveyor of difficult to find esoteric books, difficult to find occult books that have been published by independent publishers, and maybe they've been published in very limited runs because independent publishers are run very often by one or two individuals who don't necessarily have huge amounts of money to produce, thousands and thousands of these books. And so some of these books are only produced in very short runs, especially the deluxe editions. And if you're looking for some of these difficult to find books, miskatonicbooks.com is really the best place to go and check to see if they have a copy, because they are the most likely place to actually have one. I'd like to bring your attention to some excellent news from miskatonicbooks.com. I was talking about this last week, but they have actually received the books now. Gateways Through Stone and Circle has been published actually through miskatonicbooks.com. Their imprint, I'm not sure if this is Azoth Press or if it's another of miskatonicbooks.com's imprints, but this is the 10th anniversary edition of Frater Ashen Chassan's very seminal book, Gateways Through Stone and Circle. Last week I was showing you a mock-up. This looks like it is the actual final products. Like they've actually received them and they're starting to pack them and send them out this week. So that's very exciting news. Very, very nice. Let's have a little bit of a look inside, and you'll be able to see that while those very early pictures were AI generated, the whole thing has been completely scrapped and changed, and they have employed a very talented artist to hand draw all of these angels, and I'm so glad that this is the direction that the author has agreed to go down. So that's really fantastic. You can see how beautiful all of that is. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this from close up. Very cool stuff. All right. If you haven't put in your pre-orders, then of course I'll leave a link down below for you to be able to do so. Just to give you an idea, this is Frater Ashen Chassan's workings with, if I remember correctly, Trithemius's method for calling angels into crystals and for communicating with angels in that way. And he describes the process, he describes the setup and the whole ritual setup so that you can actually perform this yourself if you wish to. And then he talks about the results that he got and the kind of conversations that he was able to have with these angelic entities. Very cool, very influential book, and I can't believe it's been 10 years already. Very nice stuff. All right, I might as well do a plug for myself at this point. I am doing 25% off all 1-hour consultations, 55-minute consultations. So if you head over to foolishfish.simplybook.it, then you'll be able to book a conversation with me. I talk about this at the end of most of my news videos. Since it's the summer holidays, my wife and son are actually away this week. They're by the seaside, and I'm at home just working hard on my channel. It's the first opportunity that I've really had to do so for a little while. And so if you would like to have a one-to-one conversation with me, I've brought the price down a little bit for this coming week. It's really just for this coming week, between the 4th today that I'm recording, the 4th of July, and the Friday 12th of July. My family actually come back on the 13th, so that's what's going on there. And so if you'd like to have a conversation with me, now is a cheaper time to do so. I can read your tarot, I can read your we can do an I Ching reading, we can just talk talk about your spiritual path. We can talk about any recommendations that I can give you for books or whatever can help you with your own spiritual path and practice. There we go, 25% off. Go and check out the links down below using the code FFSUMMERSUN. There we go, at checkout, all capital letters. All right, let's talk a little bit about books. The Owl's Eye, Historical Charms and Spells from Traditional Fortune-Telling Books by Corinne Boyer is the new book that is being published by Troy Books. And if we come down here a little bit, we'll find... I'll come now. We'll find that the Owl's Eye is a collection of 142 charms, spells, and procedures that have been taken out of historic fortune-telling books. Fortune-telling books have been a part of European and American popular magic since the 17th century, with some even earlier examples surviving, along with traditional fortune-telling information such as how to read palms and interpret playing cards. Around 2/3 of the books also contained divinatory charms and spells, though some of these are represented in dictionaries of superstitions and different folklore collections. Many of them remain unknown and have never before been brought together all in one book for ease of reading, and so that seems to be what they have done here. So you can see that there's a paperback edition. This is likely the paperback edition's cover, and you can see the kind of hardback edition over here. Let's have a look down here to see what we have. So the paperback edition, regular paperback edition, regular hardback edition, which is likely to have simply a board cover with a slipcase, and the special edition over here, which looks particularly pretty. So there we are. Those are all available. No, not all available. The special edition is available right now for pre-ordering, and the hardback and paperback edition will be available for pre-ordering quite soon. Scarlet Imprint released a new printing of Jinn Sorcery as a paperback. Now, Jinn Sorcery came out a good few years ago now and has been out of print for a long time. Now, every time that somebody reaches out to me saying, hey, is there anything that you can recommend on Jinn Sorcery? Of course, Dunja Racic's fantastic recent book. Oh my goodness. I think somebody's cleaning windows upstairs. Sounds like wailing. So weird. Anyway, so Jinn Sorcery is the book that I have been recommending prior to Dunja Racic's. Was it called Bedeviled? I think it was the name of a book that came out quite recently. And when Jinn Sorcery went out of print, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what to recommend anymore. And so I'm delighted that this is back in print. Very, very cool stuff. I think I've seen that Baal Kadmon has come out with a book on the Jinn. I'll be honest with you, I don't know very much about Baal Kadmon, or I remember reading one of his books quite early on, and I can't remember. For some reason, I didn't click with it, so I never went back. But I'm sure his material's fine. So you could check that out if you're interested in Jinn Sorcery as well, potentially. But yeah, very, very happy to see that Scarlet Imprint has got Jinn Sorcery back in print. Let's talk a little bit about Golden Horde and Dr. Stephen Skinner's and Daniel Clark's new editions of the Steganographia. So this is the book, the Trithemius's book that was very, very influential on Agrippa, if I understand correctly. Yeah, so Agrippa was influenced by this book, among others, by Trithemius. And it's been very difficult to find any good translations of the Steganographia, and so this translates books 1, 2, 3, and 4 of of the Steganographia. Don't ask me how many books there are originally. There may actually, in fact, be only 4. Oh, here we go. Previously, only books 1 and 3 have been published in English in 1982, but without any explanation of the magic or spirit hierarchy. This edition has rectified that deficiency and has added a full translation of book 2, containing a further 25 spirits in addition to the 31 spirits of book 1. And also included in the large book 4 are details of the creation of the magical bell and how the Steganographia relates to Paracelsus. So yeah, the Steganographia was a book that is considered, depending on the sources, considered to be a source for cryptography and a source for magic. And of course, at a time when magic is highly illegal, or was highly illegal, talking about it as a cryptography book would certainly have been a convenient way of talking about it. Yeah, so anyway, book 4 also examines the angelic evocation of the Almadel and 3 Shemhamefurash of Solomon, Adam, and Moses, respectively. Exciting stuff. Let me turn my phone on to do not disturb. There we go. So here we are. Let's see. David Rankin has got news. He's delighted to and excited to announce that his new book for Hadean Press, Claves Intelligentarum, a complete practical manual of conjuration of the planetary intelligences, will open for pre-orders of the hardback on August 27th, with the paperback available from September 26th. I'll tell you a bit more about that when it is in fact available for pre-order, but looking a little bit at the comments over here, we can see that he says, in response to Ruben Durham, it uses the conjurations I previously published from Sloan 3821, but it is a complete step-by-step of absolutely everything needed to perform the conjurations, preparations, all the consecrations, how to construct the circle and triangle, etc., etc. I have written this so that a person with no experience of conjuration could work through it and confidently perform conjuration of the intelligences, understanding with what all the steps do and why they are there. So it's a synthesis that I've put together and worked with over time, explaining where all the bits of practice come from, as there was no grimoire example of how to do this. It also includes elements that I've created as they were absent from the grimoire, like some specific consecrations, for example. How exciting does that sound, right? Okay, so David Rankin, who of course recently published the wonderful Grimoire Encyclopedia in 2 volumes through Hadean Press also. This is extremely exciting news. So yeah, looking forward to August 27th to be able to tell you a little bit more about all of that when the pre-orders start. There we are. So news a little bit from Veda Austin. So Veda Austin has been studying water. You may remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a Japanese, I forget his name, I'm sorry, a Japanese scientist who was looking into the crystallization of water under various conditions. The thing that really grabbed my attention here is Rupert Sheldrake's name over here, saying that it's a remarkable investigation. Veda Austin has produced some interesting and impressive images which go way beyond what would be expected on the basis of conventional science. I hope that her pioneering work will stimulate others to follow up with a systematic investigation of their own. And then Gerald H. Pollack, PhD, professor at the University of Washington, says, a wonderful blend of art and science. Some of the images are nothing short of amazing. Veda Austin has demonstrated how water responds to our thinking in ways that I and others would have thought unimaginable. it now falls within the realm of science to see if we can explain what Austin has so beautifully demonstrated. And so if we take a look over here, we'll be able to see Veda's actual book, The Living Language of Water. I recommend having a look at that video. I won't play it for you now for copyright reasons, but it looks very, very interesting. And yeah, as I say, not really having thought about the memory of water and water's ability to memorize and to interpret quite a lot of I'm not sure how to talk about it. Energy, I guess. The video looks surprising, and the book does look very interesting, with over 1,500 photos of detailed imagery and over 300 pages. This book is a beautiful interweave of science, art, and consciousness. There we are. So, yeah, looking into how water reacts to consciousness, in fact. Okay, let's move on to news from Gallo Glass Books, a publisher that I didn't know. So 242 zlotys is $50, right? This is the book called Monad by Plotinus, Porphyry, and Proclus. These are all Neoplatonists. This looks like a very interesting book. Of course, these are texts that are in the public domain. They were translated by Thomas, I forget his name, Thomas Taylor. In fact, I may have some of those on my shelves. But it looks like a nice edition of them and then brought together, right? So Monad contains Taylor's translations of the Enneads by Plotinus, On the Abstinence from Animal Food by Porphyry, and Elements of Theology by Proclus, as well as a number of other works by the same authors. If we take a look over here at the table of contents, we can see a few interesting titles here on the three hypostases that rank as the principles of things, on the generation and order of things after the first, on the Gnostic hypostases and that which is beyond them, and so on, right? Some cool stuff. And here's a second page on truly existing being, on the manner in which the multitude of the ideas subsists and concerning the good, on the good or the one, and so on and so forth. Yeah, it looks interesting, like an interesting collection of Neoplatonist thought in a rather pretty looking book. It's being published in 2,000 copies. Pre-orders will ship the first week of July, so it seems like that's starting to ship right now. There we are. You can order directly through Gallo Glass Books .shop. There we go, galloglassbooks.shop. I'll leave links down below. A few books that I found on Amazon. Yeah, this weird thing on Amazon. So Amazon.com, the US Amazon is the one that I usually go to just to see if anything interesting has come out in the more mass market arena every week. And something weird happened. I noticed that usually I go to the Spirit. I'm trying to think if I can just open a new tab for you guys. Here we go. So if I go into books like this and just go into search, this is what I normally do, right? And I just scroll down over here. I normally go to religion and spirituality, right? In the US version of the site, there's no mind, body, and spirit the way there is in the UK. So I go to religion and spirituality, and that page has changed now. It used to have occult, it used to have paganism, it used to have all kinds of really cool stuff. But now it does seem to be just Christianity mostly, and a little bit of other main world religions, notably Judaism and Buddhism. Right, everything else is pretty much Christianity. And yeah, looking down over here, there are definitely some books recommended for me because of the algorithm, right? They know what kind of stuff I'm specifically looking for. But if I look at the categories, yeah, it's all Christianity and Buddhism. That's it. That's what you get. So there doesn't seem to be a category for occultism anymore in the US website. If I go to the UK website, let me see, and I go to books. There we go. You'll be able to see that on the left-hand side here, there's this mind, body, and spirit category. And when you go into there, this is what it used to look like on the US website, right? You have occultism, divination, spirituality, and earth-based religions, other religious and spiritual practices, and then that gives you ritual, mysticism, agnosticism, and atheism. That's not an option anymore on the US Amazon. I thought that's worth possibly pointing out. It's maybe a worrying trend. I don't know. Anyway, I'm trying not to read too much into it, but it's hard not to. Okay, these are the books that I found on the UK Amazon for this week, and we're going to start off with Mercury Magic. Of course, all these books are available on the US Amazon. It's just a little bit more difficult to discover what's new in our specific realm of interest, right? Okay, so Mercury Magic, how to thrive during retrogrades and tap into the power of the messenger planet all year long. So the idea is that, when Mercury goes into retrograde, all kinds of difficult situations arise. This seems to be a book that addresses that and that helps you to thrive anyway during those difficult Mercury retrograde times. It does sound interesting. It's certainly an interesting concept. I'm sure that if you can only even just pick up one or two interesting ideas, then that will be money well spent. I mean, Mercury goes into retrograde so regularly. Is it 4 times a year? It's and it always catches me off guard, and usually at a time when I'm traveling. So yes, a couple of good ideas could be quite nice there. So that comes out on the 11th of July, just in a few days' time. Great. You can put in your pre-orders, of course, down below. All the links that I provide for Amazon in the description of the video, there will associate links, so I get a little commission at no extra expense to you. You pay the same as always. It's just that if you reach Amazon through one of my links, then I get a small commission. Amazon send me a little tip. So this is another book that caught my attention for several reasons. First of all, it sounds interesting, right? Spellcraft and Spellwork, a guide to the magical practice of spells. Seems like a nice beginner friendly kind of book. Spells are something that almost every magical practitioner utilizes, often when stepping into the world of magic and spell casting for the first time. It can be difficult to understand how to navigate crafting your first spell, what steps to take towards building your own personal practice. Spellcraft and Spellwork is a practical guide on the inner and outer workings of spell casting. Yes, so many spell books focus on the outer without going enough into the inner. This book brings the reader back to the basics and introduces everything you need to know about crafting and working spells. Sounds great. Sounds like a potentially a nice book for beginners to be able to just get started with practical work, right? So that's quite nice. The second thing that kind of made me do made me look twice was this Pagan Portals, and it turns out that this is a series of books with various authors. So this was the second one, and there are many more. Dragon Magic. So this isn't my cup of tea at all. The idea of dragon magic seems a little weird to me, but so many people reach out to me asking to me, hey, do you know any books on dragon magic? I usually say, what magic now? But yes, there is a book on dragon magic now. For the past couple of days anyway, 28th of June, this one came out. And it's also in this Pagan Portals series. So this one's by Rachel Patterson. She's got a couple more books in this series. Here's another one, Solace, Solar Goddess of the Spring Waters, which will be published in September, 24th of September. Also looks very interesting. Anyway, this Pagan Portals, if any of you have got any experience with these Pagan Portals books or know anything more about them, then do reach out in the comments. I'd love to know a little bit more and to know if it's good quality stuff or if it's just not. Okay, let's continue. So we've got Unquiet Voices, the magical art of laying ghosts. So this is coming out on the 8th of August. So yeah, in a month's time now. Navigate the realms of the unseen with this practical resource for magicians, pagans, and spiritual workers of all kind, drawing on 30 years of research and experience. Authors Rob and Nonnie Douglas combine classical necromancy and modern investigative methods to help you confidently identify spirits of the dead, know when they're present, and diagnose their effects. Unquiet Voices presents paranormal investigation from the perspective of medieval magic, explore the historical legacy of necromancy, learn about the diverse types of spirits, and avoid common errors and misconceptions. So a nice primer for necromancy, it would seem. We don't get very many of those. So yeah, that all sounds pretty good. I don't know why I'm only getting this kind of weird, very light coloured version, whatever. That's by Rob and Nonnie Douglas, and that's coming out in 1 month's time, but you can of course put your pre-orders in already. Good stuff. A couple of Kickstarters, a very exciting Kickstarter, which is a combination of the works of Damien Echols, Travis McHenry, and Laurie Davis. So this is an Oracle deck with the sigils by the wonderful Damien Echols. I recommend checking out the details of the campaign, and you can put your order in through the Kickstarter. You probably know how to do that by now. I can see that they've put in quite a lot of effort here. They've made something quite beautiful and quite workable, it would seem, right? Yeah, I like the look of the cards. I like the way they've kind of finished these off with a kind of a rough look. It looks good. It looks really good to me. Yeah, those red gilded edges, beautiful. Lovely stuff. Let's have a look at prices. So it starts at $40. That is for the hardcover Grimoire of Sigil Magic book. Excuse me. So that's not for the deck. It's $50 for the deck, and you can get both together for $90. Down there we go. Now there's the autographed book. Sigil deck book and sigil poster. Sigil deck autographed book and poster. And sigil deck poster and hand-bound book. Oh, now we're talking. Okay, some really lovely options there. And you can, I guess, see what the inside of the book looks like. from here. There's a hand-bound edition. Very cool. Very, very cool. There we go. So that's on Kickstarter. Links down below, of course. And what else do we have? We've got Cave of SYBIL, a Chthonic oracle or Chthonic oracle. This really, this caught my attention. It's striking. It's very unsettling and very, very beautiful. Of course, not a deck for everyone. Some people will be put off by the energy here, but I think there's a lot of beauty here. Definitely a strong sense of aesthetics, and it's as I say, a striking deck, very, very beautiful. And this one is $70 for the Oracle deck and Spellbook together. And this one for the wax sealed letter included. 2 Oracle decks, Oracle deck and Ritual Tarot deck. Oh, Ritual Tarot deck. Is this a different thing? And then the wholesale pack. Yeah, if the aesthetic appeals to you, then by all means go and check this out, and find out a little bit more about the difference between the Oracle deck and the Tarot deck, I suppose, and if they are in fact both available. There we are. Then we've got news from Dr. Alexander Cummins, who is giving an interesting lesson here. The Libraries of the Sorcerers, a guided tour of grimoire magic with historian of magic Dr. Alexander Cummins, beginning July 6th. So that's from $150, and it's a 7-week online class taught via Zoom. This is being offered by Morbid Anatomy. Love Morbid Anatomy. They do wonderful stuff. I recommend going to check out all of their stuff in their shop over here, and also the events that they hold. Grimoires are books of magic, manuals of spirit conjuration, handbooks for practice, petitioning and navigating the influences of angelical choirs and the infernal hierarchies of hell, as well as occult philosophical treatises, and even stranger tomes of arcane sorcery. I need to get my eyes checked, don't I? Such books formed a central way in which occult knowledge and sorcerous techniques were transmitted and received through the pre-modern world, and underwent a veritable explosion in popularity across Europe following the Renaissance. If you'd like to check out what Dr. Alexander Cummins has to say on grimoire magic, he's very well informed. Then yes, this does seem like a very cool series of classes. Oh, some really, really nice titles here. Session 1, the Heptameron, the Arbitel, the Cambridge Book of Magic, the Excellent Book of the Art of Magic, Grimoire of Pope Honorius, the Veritable Key of Solomon, the Grimorium Verum. Really, very, very cool. He really covers quite a lot of ground there, clearly. Then there is a very beautiful edition of Dante's Inferno. I don't think it's the whole Divine Comedy. It is Inferno. It looks really beautiful. Again, I recommend checking out the video here. It seems to be made of woodcuts. Just really very, very beautiful stuff. Isn't that beautiful? Lovely. And yeah, it's in this kind of this box that seems to have gates that open on both sides like that. Can you see? It's really lovely. Really, really lovely. Beautiful. The Illuminated editions. Ah, yeah, I seem to remember some of these being on Kickstarter previously. That's right. Pinocchio. Quadian. Okay, Voyage to Arcturus. Yes. I remember this. I think I talked about this on one of my news segments previously. Crime and Punishment, Peter Pan, Oscar Wilde, The Willows. Oh yeah, I think it was the edition of The Willows, which is so beautiful. So beautiful, that's right. Lovely. I hadn't realised, I actually hadn't realised it was the same edition, editors, publishers. It makes good sense considering how beautiful it is. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Lovely, lovely stuff. And then my game of the week is the Call of Cthulhu horror on the Orient Express. How could it not be? So this was a Kickstarter a little while back. It did very well, and it is currently nearing the end of its creation. And so you can put in a late pledge right now through GameFound. You can see how cool it looks. It's being published by Chaosium, who are the creators of the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, which is absolutely fantastic, and a classic. And this just looks really, really cool. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of plastic, and the plastic does look very, very nice. But it takes place on you can see the board is actually this little train, and the train's got squares on it, and you kind of progress through the train, and depending on the scenario, each wagon is going to be like a dining wagon, or a coach, or whatever, the kitchen coach or whatever. And it just looks very cool. It looks very, very cool. I think there's vampires involved, and obviously all the usual Lovecraftian horror. The production just looks lovely as well, right? Makes a difference, makes a change from the Fantasy Flight artwork, which they constantly use over and over and over and over and over again. This is all fresh artwork, which is lovely to see. There we go. My battery is running low, so it's time for me to say thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. Once again, if you'd like to get 25% off at the Foolish Fish one-to-one conversations website, which is linked down below, then use the code FFSUMMERSUN, all capital letters, all one word, at checkout, and you can get 25% off any of the 1 hour sessions. And yeah, I'm going to wish you a lovely week, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Take care of yourselves and of each other. See you soon. Bye bye.